got big news today. Sony is releasing new headphones. Sony released new XM6 headphones to replace the XM5 models. It's been a 3-year wait since the last flagship headphones came out from Sony, so this is really exciting. I've had these for about a week and a half, been testing, listening to music, podcasts, so let's get into my first-hand impressions. So, what's new with the XM6 headphones? Well, first of all, you'll notice they fold. They may not seem very exciting, but it is pretty cool. They're actually much more travel friendly than they used to be. In a minute, I'll show you the case. We'll show you just how portable they are. They also have a new fancy processor inside. The processor is for powering AI-powered noise canceling, and I know brands love to call everything AI these days, but these really do have a very fancy processor inside. It is much faster. I found that while using the noise canceling, as long as I have music playing, it's near perfect. I mean, it really is phenomenal. That's not a surprise. Sony's always been pretty top of the line when it comes to noise cancellation, when it comes to audio quality. Like most headphones reviewers, I have a dedicated playlist for audio testing with, everything from like Radiohead to Mozart to some of my favorite indie tracks. So listening to my favorite music, they definitely pop on the Sony headphones. The audio quality, like I said, is very, very good. I feel like especially with vocals on the high end, the middle end, these really, really make your audio sound incredible. I personally have kind of weaker bass hearing, but I actually love the bass balance on these. I know a lot of people really want like big thumping bass, but that's not always the best for sound mix. Sony actually has headphones specifically designed for bass lovers, the ULT headphones. So if you want like big pounding bass, these might not be the right ones for you. I'd probably go with the Sony ULT. But overall, I think it has a really good balance of sound. I really like that there's the ability to, adapt the EQ to your liking. That's a pretty standard feature, but I feel like it was just very well done in the Sony app. So yeah, for as much as you're paying for headphones, you want them to sound really good, and these definitely do. The question is it the best sound I've ever heard? And I have to say, not quite. There are some other products I feel like have given me slightly better like audiophile worthy sound. Right now, I'd give that up to Panasonic and Technics. But for what you're paying, yeah, the sound is great. The way I always like to say this is they passed the Bop Test. So like when I'm listening to music, am I like bopping my head like a nerd? And I found that yes, when I'm wearing these, listening to the music, I'm just very much like feeling it. I'm rocking out. So yeah, they passed the Bop Test, if that means anything to you. The only really complaint I had is on very, very busy tracks. I'm thinking things like Radiohead's National Anthem, where there's just so many different sounds going on at once. They did blur together a little bit. I wouldn't say it was muddy, but it did lack a little bit in clarity. With cleaner tracks, more simple tracks, that's absolutely not a problem. Like listening to like Contact by Daft Punk or 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Paul Simon. The percussion, everything is just very clear, sharp, amazing. So I did feel like there was some blurring on those super layered tracks, but that's also something you're gonna get with other headphones, right? So I compared these to the XM5 model. I've tested the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra, the Dyson OnTrack, AirPods Max, tons of earbuds. And I would definitely say these are at the high end for sure. Is it perfect audio? Not quite there, but pretty close. It's definitely high quality audio. Definitely good for listening to music. I don't think you'll be disappointed with the sound in any way. And like I said, when there's, vocal tracks, Adele, things like that, they definitely shine through. They create a sense of depth. Was very, very happy with that. I will say after 3 years, I was hoping for maybe a little bit more changes. The battery life, for example, is exactly the same. I know some other brands are hiding extra battery packs around the headband. They still have 30 hours, which is great, but it's exactly the same as the XM5 version, which was a bit of a surprise, to be honest. I think part of the problem we're dealing with is headphones, over-ear headphones are, pretty much as good as they're gonna get for a while. They're very, very good headphones. The last version, also very, very good headphones. They're comfortable, they sound great, the noise canceling is good. Barring some huge technology jump, I'm not sure how much better headphones are gonna get. I think headphones may have plateaued a little bit, and so we're seeing iterative improvements, small changes here and there instead of big transformative changes. So let's actually take a look at how the two of these headphones compare. The first thing you'll notice right off the bat is that the new XM6 carrying case is smaller. Again, the XM6s fold up so they can make the carrying case lighter and smaller. It may not seem like a huge difference at first glance, but I promise when you're packing these into a backpack, it's definitely noticeable, and the smaller case is very useful. That's probably the big thing. let's actually take them out. So you'll notice they actually look very similar. The overall aesthetic is still very much the same. They're still recognizably Sony headphones. If you didn't know, you probably wouldn't be able to tell me at a glance which one is which. So again, very, very similar aesthetic. However, there are some changes. The XM6s fold, like I said, that's probably the big one. And then there are some changes to the buttons, to the touch controls, to the, you know, actual hardware elements of it. But overall design, sound quality, noise cancellation, there's a lot of similarities here. If you have the XM5s, would I automatically upgrade to the XM6? Probably not, to be honest. If you have the XM4, if you need a new pair of headphones, absolutely. But overall, we have pretty similar headphones. Personally, I like headphones and earbuds with some metal components. That does make them heavier, which impacts comfort, but they just feel sturdier. I think that's one of the reasons the Airpod Max headphones are so famous, so iconic, right? These are primarily plastic. There are, you know, some tougher components, especially at the hinges here. I do prefer something with a little bit more heft, personally, in my headphones. That being said, the lightness is actually a plus for comfort. These are very comfortable headphones. You can wear them for hours on end. I've been wearing them pretty much all day while I'm working, and I haven't had any comfort issues. I haven't had really any problems to report there at all. So again, the Bose Quiet Comfort, probably the most famous comfortable headphones. But again, these are very comfortable as well too. Really no complaints in that department. So should you buy the new XM6 headphones? We got to talk about the price. These come in at $449.99. $450 for a pair of flagship headphones is a lot. It's not totally unreasonable. That's similar to the AirPods Max. And like I said, they do have very strong audio quality, very strong noise canceling. They're comfortable. So I don't think that's an unreasonable price for a pair of flagship headphones, but it is a lot. You know, it definitely is. One thing I can tell you is the XM5s are gonna drop in price, especially around sales. So because it's not a light year step forward, I would consider going with the XM5s, especially if $450 is giving you pause. That is a lot to pay. Another thing I'll say is for $450, I would really want the audio to just be like perfect. And there were a couple things that I noted that weren't, you know, the best experience I've had. But again, I'm comparing these to the best audio products I've ever tested in my life. So there's definitely like a high bar there. Would I pay $450 for them? Yeah, if I needed new top of the line flagship headphones, if I like Sony products, I'm in their ecosystem already, absolutely. They sound great, they're comfortable, they're easy to travel with, which is a huge plus. There are some improvements over the XM5s, maybe not enough to justify an instant upgrade, but if you have an older set of headphones, I think these are gonna blow them out of the water. But overall, solid pair of headphones. I think people are really gonna like these. I'm definitely gonna keep using these. I think they'll probably be my new daily headphones. So what do you think of the new XM6 headphones from Sony? Let us know in the comments what you think. Would you pay $450 for them? If you wanna read my full review, head over to Mashable.